Well, welcome back, folks, to Max Nave Horsemanship. And today, well, it's going to be, well, we're just going to talk about some things from the last video and a few other things. Some are horse related, some not so much. Well, in a way, it's all horse related. That's what we do here. But I want to start by talking about my last video that I did. I was teaching you how to, well, I was showing you how to teach your horse how to neck rein. And there was one thing I actually left out of that one that I probably should have mentioned. And something else that I did mention in that video, I'm going to repeat because it's really important. And, well, first off, I've said that, when you're teaching a horse a new task, that you have to escalate in stages. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 stages of escalation. And for those of you that were actually paying attention, you will have noticed that there were only 2 stages in that video. There was the neck rein cue and then the direct rein cue. And the reason for that, that it was a bit of a deviation from what we usually do, is there's a very good reason for it. Because the direct rein, the horse already knows. So you don't need to escalate because, and that's also why I said in that video, it's very important that your horse steers good to begin with, or don't even bother trying to teach this stuff, because your follow-up cue, which is your direct reining, if it doesn't work really well, forget about it. Your tool isn't there that you need to be able to teach the neck reining. And so it's very important that your horse steers very well. And for those of you that have paid attention, you'll notice just how soft he is, how, when I was actually direct reining him, I'd just barely pick up a rein and he'd turn. That's what's required before you can neck rein. And that's very important. And like I said, it was only 2 stages, the neck rein cue and then the direct rein. And the reason for that is because he already knows it. Well, and that's the theory is, your horse should know that already very well before you move on, and must know that. Otherwise, you will need additional cues, but I don't know. That'd just be a real problem trying to do things that way. I'm not sure how you'd go about it, actually. I'm not sure it's even possible. So in order to teach neck reining, the horse must direct rein very well to begin with. Then you can move on to the neck reining, and you will only need the one additional cue after the neck rein cue, because the horse already knows it. You already know it. You've been using it. It works. It works well in theory. Like I said, if the horse doesn't steer well to begin with, forget about the neck reining stuff. Don't even try it. I've said this before with many things that you do with your horse. In order to move on to the next stage, you have to have the one before that very good. Otherwise, you don't have the tool that you need to back up what you're doing, and it may take a while. And I showed you very briefly in that video what to do, and you can do it that briefly, but you're going to have to do it quite a few times. You don't have to go at it for hours on end. That might just get the horse all frustrated, but be prepared. It may take you an hour. It may only take a few minutes, depending on the horse, before you get good results. And once you get good results, even if it's only once or twice, good enough. You can go at it again another day. You don't have to go at it for hours, but be prepared. And this is something I've said many times in other videos. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Don't think, well, I got 15 minutes or a half hour to spare. I'm going to teach the horse something, because it may not work that way. I'll give you a little example. There was one day I went out to catch one of my own horses, and no fault of my own horse, by the way. It kept getting herded off by another horse that happened to be the leader at the time. And it actually took me, I think it was close to 3 hours just to catch my horse. Again, that wasn't the fault of my horse. She was being told to get by another horse, and she was listening to the other horse. And that's where you may also run into problems if you have other horses around. Anytime you get a chance to work with your horse isolated away from other horses, that is the absolute best time to do stuff, because otherwise the other horses can actually cause problems. But like I said, go back to what I've said. Don't think I got 15 minutes, half hour, or even 1 hour, which might sound like a lot, because it may take more than that. But don't think that you have to continue on for hours on end to do something. Many of my training sessions with my own horses and even other horses have been a matter of mere minutes, because if I achieve what I want, if I manage to, the horse catches on to the task at hand and does what I ask it to do within a matter of a few minutes, I'll call it a day. I'll say, that's good. You did it once, you did it twice, you did it 3 times. Excellent. Good enough. You get to go back out and be a horse now. So that's something to consider. Does not mean you won't have to repeat it many times. You know, I've said this with just about everything is, you know, many of the things that I have shown you, you are going to have to repeat them over and over and over. You know, there's, you know, not a 5-minute fix to things. You know, there's very few things that are ever going to get good in a very short period of time. They may learn it in a matter of a few minutes, but it may take hours, days, weeks before it actually gets good. And because you're going to have to repeat it over and over and over and over. So that was one of the important things that I really wanted to emphasize to follow up with that last video is, you know, like I said, those who are paying attention, you will notice there are only 2 stages, not the usual 3 or 4 when we're teaching a horse a new task. But that's because the following one is one the horse already knows well, responds to, it knows exactly what it means, hopefully, and you won't have a problem. If, and again, I'm going to repeat this one more time, if your horse does not direct rein and steer really well to begin with, do not even bother trying to teach the horse to neck rein. Stick to the direct reining until the horse gets really, really good at it. Now, on the note of steering, both the direct rein and the neck reining, I just thought I'd share a little anomaly with you that came up when I was working with Clint. And it was kind of interesting. When I very first started riding him, and I was direct reining, he would turn very well to the left, but he was quite resistant to turning to the right. Well, I never stopped asking. If I said, you're turning right, that's all there is to it. And I don't stop asking until I get what I want. This goes back to what I said before about, you know, your follow through and being persistent and firm and fair and all that stuff. You got to just keep at it until you get what you want. You can't say, oh, he doesn't want to, I'm going to quit, I'll let him do something else. No, I don't let him do what he wants. The horse has got to learn that it must do what you need it to do at any given moment, because that's a safety issue. Because if you have an out-of-control horse that does whatever the heck it wants, well, let's face it, horses don't always make the best choices, and it could lead to injury for both of you. It can be a very serious problem. So make sure that you follow through. But anyhow, back to this little anomaly. He was very resistant to turning right, but he turned left very well. What was interesting, though, is when I started teaching him to neck rein, and, well, not right off the bat, but the last time, he was actually turning very well to the right, but he wouldn't respond at all to the left, which is the complete opposite, which I haven't quite figured out the answer to that one. All I know is that if I keep doing what I'm doing, eventually that's not going to be an issue anyhow. Eventually he's going to learn to do the right thing. I'm not terribly concerned about it, but I do find it an anomaly. It's very interesting, and I thought I'd share that with you, just in case you run into problems with your own horse, and you know, it does strange things like that. Don't get too concerned about it. You know, there may be a reason, it may not matter at all. You know, and I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, well, maybe the reason he neck reins so well to the right is because we did struggle with that a little bit in the beginning, and he learned that when I ask him to turn to the right, he's turning to the right. That's all there is to it. He doesn't have the option of doing anything else except what I asked him to do. And he's kind of got that in his head. So now when he, you know, feels me asking to go to the right with a neck rein, he doesn't hesitate to do it, because he knows I'm not going to quit asking. But it's never been an issue going to the left. So, you know, maybe he's less responsive because of that. I don't know. I haven't quite figured that one out. But, you know, what you're seeing right now is what you're going to get this weekend, because, well, you guys failed again. I've still not gotten any more requests for demos that you'd like to see me do. And again, I might not be able to do them, but if I can, I'm going to try. And it doesn't necessarily have to be something that you personally need. It could be something, an issue that you see around you a lot, a problem that you see other people having a lot. Because you can pretty much guarantee that if you see several people with the same problem, there's probably a lot of other people out there too that have that same problem. And, maybe we need to talk about it or give you a little demo on it, how to deal with it or something. I don't know, but, feel free to make a suggestion. Again, my view count, important. Watch to the end. And I have to say that, I don't know, I really am stumped because I spend a lot of time watching other people's videos as well because sometimes it just reaffirms things that I already believe. And I go, okay, that's good. I see there's several other really good horsemen doing the same thing I'm doing. I must be doing it right. Well, at least I'd like to think so. I base it more on what I see happening with the horse than what other people are doing. And so, but I do watch a lot of other videos. But the thing about that is I also noticed that watching other people's videos, and some that I don't think are even as good as mine, they've got thousands of views. And I don't understand it, and I go back through their library and I find out, they've only been at it for a couple of years, and they're getting thousands of views per video. I'm not. Why? I don't understand. Help me out here, okay? Promote my videos, like them, leave comments, share them with your friends. Watch them right to the end. It counts as a view if you do that. And all these things, and well, you can help me out that way a lot. And you can help other people and other horses. It's not just about me, although I'd like to see lots of views and watch time and that sort of thing, but it's not just for my benefit. It's because I know that if that's happening, then we're helping lots of horses and lots of people, and that's my goal. It's not about my popularity or anything like that. So again, help me out. Share my videos, share my channel, like them, make comments. I don't know, apparently that helps a lot if you leave comments. And say anything you want. I don't care if you leave a comment. A comment's a comment. You can tell me I'm a dummy and I'm doing it wrong. I don't really care. As long as you leave a comment. And you know what? If you say something like that, it might make me stop and think about what I'm doing and how I can do it better. Because, none of us ever stop learning. And I don't care how long you've been playing with horses or how long you live. You're never, ever going to stop learning. And that's why I say I'm still watching other people's videos and watching what they do to get ideas for how I can do things a little differently. And I have actually tried out a few of the things I've seen. I saw a couple of new things recently that I'd never seen anybody else do before. I thought, well, let's try it and see if it works. I don't see anything really wrong with it. So I tried it out, and son of a gun, it actually worked pretty good. So, there's a few little tricks I might try again, and depending on the horse, because one of the methods that I use in one particular thing I saw recently, I'm not going to elaborate too much on, but, it's worked well with most horses, but I actually did find a couple it didn't work particularly well with for some reason. And so I tried this other method that I'd seen somebody use. I thought, well, I got nothing to lose, this other one isn't working. So I tried what I'd seen this other guy do, and it's like, well, son of a gun, that worked for that horse. And it worked quite well, actually. So, that's why I said there's no one right way to do things. And from one horse to another, you might have to do things differently. So it does not hurt to have more tools in your toolbox. It's something I've said from a long time ago. The more tools you have in your toolbox, and they're figurative. They're not literally a wrench or a hammer or anything like that. But they're things at your disposal that you can use to resolve a problem, to fix a symptom or an actual problem, more correctly. The more you know, the better the chances are you're going to deal with whatever is in front of you that you have to deal with. So the more you can observe, the better for you. You don't have to watch just my videos. Absolutely not. In fact, I would discourage you from doing that. But I do want you to watch them and share them with your friends and make comments, that sort of thing. But don't hesitate to watch somebody else's as well. I will never, ever stop anybody or discourage anybody from watching as many different videos as possible, because somebody else is going to do something just a little bit different than I do, even if it's very similar. Their approach to something might be just enough different that it's going to work for you. And if you don't know that stuff, you can't use it. And if you can't use it, you may never solve your problem. Because I'm not the ultimate resource for your horse problems. Compared to some guys, I know next to nothing. There's other guys out there that know a whole lot more than I do. There's other guys with many more years of experience than I got. And, I'm not ever going to say don't watch these people, because there's lots out there. But be careful. Some of the more famous ones and better known ones, I would actually discourage you from watching, because they've become more entertainers and showmen than horsemen. And horsemanship is, well, that's why the title is of the channel is Max Nafe Horsemanship, is because horsemanship, not training, is something that I emphasize. And it was interesting, is not long ago when we got a new boarder here, I was introduced to them as a trainer. And I says, no, I am not a trainer. I'm a horseman. And there is a difference. And the other guy goes, you're right. I'm sorry. There is a big difference between those two. And I've mentioned that before in my videos too, what the difference is between a horseman and a trainer. And maybe I'll talk about that again one of these days. But in the meantime, like my videos, make comments and share them with your friends. And please make some suggestions, whether it's for you or something you've seen happening around you. There's always something new, and we can always use a few ideas. I do have a few ideas I've been kicking around for videos, but nothing's set in stone yet. And if you come up with a good one, I'll be more than happy to use it. So thanks for watching, and right to the end, have a good day.